Hello and welcome to Everything's Fine, probably your weekly antidote to bad news. The podcast that says this is good for your mental health while immediately testing the theory. Now, I want to be absolutely crystal clear. I am not talking about politics this week. I said I wouldn't last week and then immediately did a bit of a rant which Stu thought was worthy of including twice in the edit. So this week, I'm not talking about politics. I'm simply observing the news the way you observe a raccoon that's learnt to smoke, with concern and from a distance. So, for example, I'm not talking about Keir Starmer being under pressure to resign, despite, and I stress this, only being mentioned in passing in Epstein-related material, which feels like one of those things you should be able to put on your CV now. Key skills, leadership, competence, and not being in the Epstein files. Okay, he did give a high-profile job to a man who does feature in the Epstein files. That's not a good look. But let's contrast that with our moron on the other side of the Atlantic, Donald J. Trump, a man who appears in Epstein-related reporting often enough that autocorrect finishes his name, and who is under precisely zero pressure to resign from anything, largely because reality has simply chosen not to apply to him. Just to be clear, this is not an allegation segment. This is more of a contrast exercise. It's a little spot the difference puzzle for adults. It's fascinating. One man isn't implicated in a massive international sex trafficking scandal and should maybe go. Another man is deeply, repeatedly implicated, and everyone's like, what you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Well, as if he's some sort of weather event. But again, not politics. No, it's just shapes and colours. Conceptual shapes. I'm also not going to talk about Donald Trump posting a racist video about Barack and Michelle Obama. I'm not touching it. Not mentioning that it happened. Not mentioning that the White House then called for an end to fake outrage before quietly deleting said video, which apparently Trump hadn't watched properly anyway or something. I'm not going to mention it was racist, weird and deeply embarrassing in the specific way that makes you put your phone down, bang your head against the wall going, Christ, why did we bother building the bloody internet? And I definitely won't mention the immediate reaction where some people went, yes, but what about free speech? As if the issue was the freedom and not the speech. And finally, I am absolutely not talking about the Melania movie. I won't mention that it exists or that it arrived with all the cultural impact of a damp leaflet. That it's a film so unloved, it feels like it was released by accident. A movie that answers the question nobody asked, which is, what if we made prestige cinema but really pointless? From what I understand, it's a flop, a proper flop, not even a controversial flop, just a quiet, lonely flop. The kind where the cinema staff look surprised if anyone turns up. That kind of flop. This makes you wonder, was it all just a way to suck up to the president? It's a film that answers no questions, resolves no mysteries, and somehow manages to be both glossy and completely invisible. A movie made by a man accused of sexual misconduct to suck up to a man who's basically admitted to sexual misconduct about a woman who looks like she deeply regrets getting caught up in the whole sordid thing. But again, I'm not talking about that. This is a good news podcast. It's about joy. It's about kindness. It's about reminding ourselves that while powerful people are doing deeply disgusting things with no repercussions at all, there are also scientists curing diseases, communities helping each other, and cats ringing doorbells. Who doesn't love that? So let's step away from the headlines, wash our hands, get into the good stuff. Gemma, Stuart, please distract me immediately.
I'm glad you didn't talk about all the bad things this week. You sound a lot calmer for it, actually.
Yeah, no, I just thought I'd ignore it all this
I
week.
think that was the best thing to do, really.
Thanks, Stuart.
The Milana flop, as you kept saying.
Well, that's what I've heard.
Do you know how much she got paid?
She personally, I think, pocketed about $28 million dollars from the whole
Yeah,
thing.
she did. Yeah, so
And the
that
film has made, I believe, $7 million.
doesn't matter, does it?
Doesn't matter. It's not what it's for.
It was a gift, wasn't it?
It's prestige.
It was a gift. $28 million gift.
When you say gift, you mean bribe?
Oof. I couldn't possibly say that on this podcast.
Fair enough.
Not of our American listeners.
No. I mean, I'm not suggesting it was a bribe. I'm just asking whether you think it was.
Who's to say? Who's to say? Critically, I've heard it's not great. From the box office point of view, also I've heard it's not great. Perhaps they just misjudged the market on this occasion. So I wouldn't say it was a bribe. More drama this week in the soap opera known as British politics.
I hadn't noticed. I've just stayed away from The news and politics this
do you
week.
think politics got to be like football, where they just keep changing the manager?
It's very football-like, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's like we just get bored and change Prime Minister every
yeah,
18 months.
Yeah, because you don't need sort of long-term or mid-term strategy or anything.
Why do you need that?
Well, exactly.
Rubbish.
Yeah, you know.
I mean,
But did you see Wes Streeting got his WhatsApp messages out last night?
no.
Yeah, so he's trying to get ahead of the curve. So he's released all his WhatsApp messages between him and Peter Mandelson. So reading them out on TV last night, sort of Peter Mandelson saying, "Oh, what a lovely show last night. I bet you can't wait to go to America. Kiss, kiss." But Wes Streeting's just saying, let's get it all out there. Obviously, he clearly thought Starmer was going to go last night, didn't he? So probably thought if he got his messages out early, then
His leadership would be fine.
I guess it's a bit like holding on to a balloon, isn't it? The earlier you fall off, the less damage you're going to cause.
What?
Anyway, you might recall that last week we talked about celebrities who go right.
Yeah, we did. That was good.
Normally speaking, not politically. It was good.
I really enjoyed that. I really did enjoy that.
So, yes, it was about people who use fame and money in a worthwhile way rather than for creating an AI-fueled porn factory. I want to do a callback on that, because if I don't, I'm worried the news will absolutely win, and I refuse to let it sit there smugly like it's done something clever. I gave a brief shout-out last week to Stormzy.
You did.
And no sooner have I done this than the rap icon, Glastonbury headliner and owner of several excellent coats has thrown his support behind a national book campaign aimed specifically at people who don't really read. So this is the Quick Reads campaign from the Reading Agency, which turns 20 next year. It's part of the National Year of Reading. The whole idea is short, accessible books that cost just £1. £1, meaning you can get 3 of them for less than a Pret coffee. Less than a bad decision in a Tesco meal deal. They're aimed at new readers, lapsed readers, neurodivergent readers, and anyone whose attention span has been absolutely sandblasted by the internet. And for the first time ever, they're also coming out as audiobooks, which is massive, because sometimes reading a book with your eyes feels like too much admin. You just want someone to read it at you while you stare out the window and chill. 500,000 copies are being given to prisons across the UK. I think that's a brilliant thing, because books in prisons are proven to help with education, rehabilitation, mental health, and all of it. It's the opposite of punishment by neglect. And Stormzy isn't just vaguely endorsing this either. One of the books, Hunger Pains, is written by Derek Awusu and is published through Stormzy's own imprint, Murky Books. He said, "I encourage anyone who doesn't usually read to pick up a quick read, because reading really is a superpower." He also said music and books are both about finding your voice. We're all made of stories. They define who we are. And I think this is really refreshing, because it's not a universally held belief amongst famous people. Donald Trump, for example, famously does not read books. He's said that.
Really?
Yeah, he's bragged about it.
Has he?
Reading, to him, is apparently for losers, nerds, and people who don't have a very good brain.
Oh.
Now, despite this,
Yes.
he's also repeatedly claimed to have written the best books ever, which is impressive given he didn't actually write them. Most of Trump's books were written by ghostwriters, one of whom, Tony Schwartz, the man who actually wrote The Art of the Deal, later said he never saw Trump read a book while they were working together. So, just to recap the contrast here, Stormzy, reading is a superpower. Books help people find their voice. Let's make them accessible to everyone, including prisoners, neurodivergent readers, people whose attention spans have been pulverised by modern life. Trump, I don't read books, but I write incredible books which someone else wrote while I wasn't reading them. So 2 very different relationships with the written word. So the moral of the story is, read, or you might end up like Trump, lying about writing books, hanging out with very bad men before appearing to shit yourself on national TV.
Whoa.
I jest, of course.
Jim.
I jest, of course.
Jim, I feel like I feel like you're going again. You said you weren't going to do this tonight.
I jest, of course. Reading's not elitist. It's not about being clever or worthy. And it's not nerdy either. It's about giving your brain a break. It's about mindfulness. It's about slowing things down. It's about mental health in a very practical way. And also, it's about a celebrity using their platform to encourage you to do a thing that might actually help you. So that's Stormzy, books, £1, prison libraries, audiobooks.
fantastic news. So I think it was a couple of years ago when he was on the campaign trail, Trump said how much he loved the Bible. And he was then asked the question, what's your favourite bit? And he said, all of it.
The entire Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then last week, he made a bit of a gaffe. He was at one of the sort of Christian right events. And he confessed that he'd never read it.
Ah, I thought you were going to say that his favourite book was When Dumbledore Died or something like that.
I listen to Audible books
You do?
because my attention span is smashed to pieces. And yeah, that's the only way I can get through books these days. So all four on Audible. What about you, Gemma?
No, I don't have Audible. I would
Other
quite happily listen
platforms
to
are
it.
available.
Are there any that are free? I haven't found any free ones, and I'm poor,
Mm,
so
mm.
that's important to me.
As you
But
said.
but I do like a book.
Mubs, any recommendations for us, Gemma?
I do like factual, I have to say.
Yeah.
About yourself.
I'm reading Adrian Edmondson's autobiography at the moment, Berserker. That's a good read. Enjoying that. Oh, and I just read the latest Richard Osman Thursday Night.
Oh, yeah,
book.
good.
Impossible Fortune. Yes.
Which number is that?
That's the fifth one.
Fifth one.
I mean, if you enjoy those books, you'll enjoy this one. If you don't particularly, you won't enjoy this one either. Any recommendations for us, Gemma?
Yes. One of my favourite books that I've read relatively recently is The Lock Artist by Steve Hamilton. It's very cool. Not a very me book. Like usually I like stuff that makes me laugh, but that one's it's cool. Very cool. It's about a lad who gets drawn into crime. He's very good at picking locks and
That makes sense.
yeah, Dear Mrs. Bad by AJ Pierce, which is kind of wartime agony aunt gubbins. So although there is quite a lot of laughs, there's also World War II going on in the background, so it's not all sweetness and light. And then a book called Killers of a Certain Age, which I picked up on I was on holiday and the hotel had like a little leave your gubbins here. So it was inflatable toys for the pool and all sorts and suntan lotion and all that kind of gubbins. But there was also like a little book library. And I picked it up by Deanna Rayborn, which was a good holiday read.
Anyway, from literacy and emotional nourishment to romance. Stu has an oven-ready story for us about why Valentine's Day is actually good and not a capitalist trap invented by Hallmark.
Not just good, awesome.
I stand corrected.
Bold claim.
It's awesome. Valentine's can make us feel either deeply in love or deeply single.
I don't know the way that you looked at me when you said deeply in love.
Deeply in love or deeply single? Which one are you? You're obviously deeply in love. I'm deeply single. We'll move on.
Made Right Said Fred deeply dippy.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't
Can I claim that one?
You go for it.
Thanks.
I'm here to tell you that Valentine's Day is not polite at all. If you look at the history, this day didn't start with a kiss, as Errol Brown from Hot Chocolate said. Start with a riot. How does that sound? That sounds...
It wouldn't have scanned as well, I know that.
So let's go back to ancient Rome. They had Lupercalia. Now, if you think your modern dating life is chaotic, let's all imagine this. From February the 13th to the 15th, the Romans weren't trading digital techs. They were sacrificing goats, running around in the streets, using animal hides to playfully slap people to grant them fertility.
Well, we've all been there, haven't we, Stu?
Oh, haven't we? You know, quite the night. It was a drunken, naked party where the goal wasn't just romance, it was survival and vitality. Guess what? The church stepped in. They saw the chaos and said, right, come on, let's put some clothes on. Sort yourselves out. Stop this. They combined it with the story of St. Valentine, a man so dedicated to love that he defied an emperor. What I find interesting isn't the gore of Rome, but the human persistence of joy. So we went from handwritten poems to mass-produced cards because we were so desperate to tell people we liked them and that we needed a factory to help us keep up. We took a day of chaos and turned it into a day of connection. Today, people complain that Valentine's Day is commercial, but here is the positive take. Valentine's Day is a choice, as sociologist Helen Fisher points out, Hallmark doesn't force us to buy cards. We buy them because, despite the dark and muddled origins, we want an excuse to be kind. We want a reason to celebrate the fact that we are social creatures. So, whether you are a kissy face kind of person, are you a kissy face kind of person, Gemma or Jim,
I
on Valentine's? Or
would.
whether you celebrate SAD, the Single Awareness Day, with a box of chocolates you didn't have to share, then just being a lover is good enough. Valentine's Day has survived executions, pagan rituals, Roman riots, and the invention of the internet. It has evolved from a bloody festival to a chocolate-covered hug. If this day can transition from sacrificing goats to buying latte for your best friend, then there is hope for us all. It is a reminder that humans will always find a way to take something dark and turn it into something sweet. So Jim's
Well, thanks for that, Stuart.
Or forget the flowers. Have you heard about this? You can take your ex's forgotten hoodie, you can take all your romantic gifts that you've received, and then you can go online to Angry Orchard Cider and you can go into their exchange program. So this is a genius way to declutter your life and fill your wallet. So if you're holding on to like a hideous poster or an oversized sweatshirt from a past flame, you can now ship it off to Angry Orchard Cider. So how do you swap all this for cider, I hear you ask? This is what you do. Sign up for a free exchange kit by February the 20th, pack it up, they'll send you the box with a prepaid shipping label, send it to Angry Orchard House. They will then give you tokens to buy cider, which you can enjoy. Then they donate all your ex's gifts to you to charity. This is a sort of turned into a major cultural shift. According to recent open table data, over 70% of Gen Z now view Valentine's Day as a day for connections and not just romance. So they talk about emotional freedom. They're saying, don't get mad, get angry, and turn that breakup clutter into a round of drinks for your friends. So have you got any old ex-clutter you can send to Angry Orchard Cider?
Well, my last ex is about 17 years ago, so no, I think I've got rid of all that crap now.
Yeah, okay. Have you got anything, Gemma, you could send
Oh
to?
yeah. Yeah.
So
No,
go
I'm,
on.
I'm loving the double whammy. Not only are you getting free drinks for you and your friends,
Yeah,
you're also it's going to charity. So
Gemma,
you can just take it to the charity shop. You've got that extra step, that extra
yeah,
bonus of have
yeah.
some cider.
Gemma, don't try and pretend that you're going to be sharing this island with anybody.
All right. You know me too well.
What I also want
Temporarily.
to say about Valentine's Day
Yeah,
and love
yeah.
is, we all live, don't we, in this age now of optimization, don't we, Jim?
Oh, don't we
Jim?
ever, don't we ever, Stu?
Do we track our sleep? Do you track your sleep?
No.
Do you track your fitness?
Only my runs.
You've got playlists on your phones with all your best music and so on.
Yeah.
I think more and more we're trying to solve this with love and our partners as well, aren't we? We're treating people like complex puzzles, believing that if we just find the right piece of information, the right reason why they are the way they are, we will finally have a successful relationship. This is about all the dating apps and so on.
Oh, I see. I thought it was about us trying to work out what on earth is wrong with you.
But over a century ago, a man built a career on being the smartest person in the room. Do you know who that was?
No.
Oscar Wilde.
Do you know?
Yeah?
It's on the tip of my
Was
tongue.
it? Was it? Was it?
I
What
haven't leapt in like
do you
this.
know?
About
What
that.
do you? So Oscar Wilde, he said quite a famous thing about love and women. Do you know what that is? I'll tell you.
He said, women are all right, but I prefer young men. It was always good for a quote, was.
Good old Aussie.
I'm sure he did say that, but that's not the quote I had. That's not the quote I had here tonight. Brace yourself, Gemma. Women are meant to be loved, not to be understood. That's what Oscar Wilde said How do you feel
He was a
about
very
You
wise
should
man,
know he
wasn't
was
he,
gay.
Lot?
What's that, Gemma?
He was a very wise man.
Okay.
Very wise man.
These days, we might look at that and think, whoa, easy, Oscar Wilde. Can't really say things like that anymore. But if we look past the Victorian era's language, we find a truth, don't we? So Wilde was saying that women, not my words, are irrational or
No, was he saying that? I remember him
Come
saying
on,
that.
so Wilde was saying that women are irrational or that understanding them doesn't really matter. He was warning us against diagnosing love. What he's saying is when we try to understand someone fully, we are often trying to sort of categorize them. We want to put them in a box, don't we? Not literally, so that they become predictable.
Should hope not.
but love, true vibrant love, is found in the uncertainty. I think we'll all agree with that. So
I'm
as,
reluctant to agree with anything else. Go on.
as Oscar Wilde said, the very essence of romance is uncertainty. If you understand someone perfectly, you've essentially turned them into a machine, haven't you? And you can't fall in love with a machine. You can only maintain it, switch it on and off, and so on. Let's think.
You're right there, Stu.
Yeah. Let's think about the last time, shall we? You all felt truly seen. It wasn't because someone had figured you out, was it? Like a maths problem. It was because they accepted the parts of you that didn't make sense. Love is supreme precisely because it bridges the gap that logic cannot. So love says, I see that you feel this way and I'm here. By choosing to love without needing a full psychological blueprint, we give our partners the greatest gift possible, the freedom to be a mystery. I think what I'm saying there is love is a verb, isn't it? So as we head into Valentine's Day, we put a little challenge out. I challenge you to put down, well, I mean, you haven't actually got one, but if you did, I'm challenging you to put down the magnifying glass. Stop trying to understand why your partner, your friend, or your family is how they are and why they are, but instead prioritize the experience over the analysis, because at the end of the day, understanding is a high level mental function. But love is a fundamental human presence.
It's very true and a very beautiful sentiment, Stu. Thank you. And to build on that, Gemma, I believe you've got a story for us about horny tigers.
What a link.
Also, what the his kissy face?
It's an emoji.
That was beautiful, Stu.
Go for it, Gemma.
Have you got a jingle?
No, I did not get jingles, but it's so like I didn't give AI the prompt of I want this story, but give it a horny tiger vibe, please. So my find of the day was a story about the doubled numbers of wild tigers in just a decade, and it started with people choosing to share space, not fight for it. A little over a decade ago, countries across Asia set a bold goal: double the number of wild tigers. It was called T times 2, and it gave conservationists a clear target and a deadline. In India, a country with more people than any other, the target didn't just move the needle. It helped the tiger population grow to more than 3,600 by 2018. That made up roughly 3/4 of the world's wild tiger population. Extensive monitoring across 20 states showed not only more tigers but more protected habitat, about 30% more area where tigers can live safely. That's a big win: more space, more animals, more resilience. The study found something interesting. Tigers often do better where local economies can support responsible tiger tourism and where governments help compensate families for losses. In other words, when communities see value in sharing land with wildlife, coexistence becomes possible. That doesn't erase the challenges, but it changes the incentives. Sharing land with a growing human population is never simple. There are conflicts and real risks. However, as the study's lead author put it, within tiger reserves, you're more likely to die from a car accident than from a tiger attack. That line helps put the danger in perspective and reminds us that coexistence is achievable with the right policies and community support. So, the takeaway: targeted conservation, community incentives, and protected habitat can add up to real recovery. India's success shows that even in crowded places, nature can rebound when people choose to protect it.
Thank you, Gemma. I mean, it's similar in some ways to the Link story we talked about a few weeks back. I mean, that's done in the process of being done. So it shows what can be achieved when we just stop killing things and destroying their habitats.
Yeah, and make the effort to
not kill them and destroy the habitat.
Yeah.
I think maybe we can apply it to other humans as well.
What,
Saying,
other humans' habitats?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
So basically,
coexistence is possible if you give it.
You just stop killing things.
Yeah.
From romance to tax.
Oh, right.
Stay with me.
Yeah,
because this is actually good news.
Yes.
For most of us. It does involve billionaires looking slightly uncomfortable, but hey, they're getting used to that right now, aren't they? This won't even land them in prison. Well, not necessarily.
Easy.
This week, the push for global tax justice picked up serious momentum in the UN. And I know what you're thinking, Jim, tax. But hear me out, this is the fun kind. The make very rich polluters pay for the mess kind. So at the UN this week, plans were discussed to make fossil fuel companies pay for climate damage. Not offset points, pay for the damage that they've caused. Alongside renewed talks about increasing taxes on the ultra-rich, the uber-rich, the people whose money has its own money. And this all comes from an idea first pushed by a coalition of African states back in 2022. And I love that, because it's not coming from the usual places that tell us what's realistic. It's coming from countries saying, do you know what, we've done the maths and this needs sorting out. So the proposal is for a global tax treaty, a coordinated system so multinational corporations and obscenely wealthy individuals can't just slide their money into a novelty island shaped like a pineapple and claim that they're skinned. This week, negotiations resumed at the UN headquarters in New York under the UN Framework Convention on International Tax. And I should say the United States is hosting the talks.
Oh.
But they have also withdrawn from them.
Oh.
Which is pretty special, even by current standards of the US, right? It's like inviting everyone to a party, opening the door and then immediately saying, yeah, I'm not coming, and hiding in the nearest cupboard. The UK-based Tax Justice Network says these talks are basically a last chance for Europe to deal with tax-dodging US multinationals. They estimate those companies cost Europe, well, how much would you think? Each year, how much do you think these tax-dodging so-and-sos, little scamps, cost us in lost revenue?
So the whole of Europe?
Whole of Europe.
So we're talking billions, aren't we?
We are.
I'm going to say for the whole of Europe, I'm going to go for 10 billion.
10 billion? What do you think, Gemma?
I reckon I'm just going to double it. 20 bill.
Stuart's slightly the closer. It's 14 billion euros. All lost. That could be schools, hospitals, green energy, bins that actually get collected, actual things. Instead, the money just vanishes into a spreadsheet with a tan. The Tax Justice Network says the outcome of these talks will affect people everywhere and it'll shape economies and livelihoods for generations. Which sounds dramatic, but also, yeah, because when the richest people and the biggest polluters don't pay their share, we all pick up the tab. Usually with worse services, worse infrastructure, and a climate which sounds dramatic, but also, yes. Because when the richest people and the biggest polluters don't pay their share, all of us pick up the tab. Usually with worse services, worse infrastructure, and a climate that's going down the pan faster than Keir Starmer's approval ratings. And this is why it matters for mental health too, because nothing grinds you down like being told there's no money for the things you need, while watching companies make record profits and then simply not contribute. So it's about fairness, it's about accountability, it's about saying if you broke it, you don't get to quietly pop off to Monaco. And the genuinely hopeful bit is that it's happening at a global level. Countries talking to each other and coordinating and deciding we can do it differently. Okay, it isn't actually done and it's not exactly going to be easy to get it done. Powerful people are going to fight this tooth and nail. But it is happening, it's being discussed seriously, and that alone is a shift. So yeah, global tax justice. Fossil fuel companies paying for climate change. Billionaires being asked to contribute more than just a few buttons. And if it works, it means fewer terrible headlines further down the line. What do we think of that?
Well, of course, but it's how we implement it, isn't it? How it gets implemented. As you say, there's going to be pushback. I think that was the biggest con in my lifetime, how big business, oil companies, polluters, pushed it back onto us by saying if we recycled our plastic bottles, then we could make a difference. Whereas that is negligible. And as we now know, everything you recycle, only about 10% of what you do recycle actually gets recycled. And the two biggest countries in the world, the two biggest polluters, America and China, they represent about 60-70% of all the pollution and emissions, and mostly through the oil. Maybe if we concentrated on getting them in hand, then we can start looking at me and you recycling our chocolate wrappers and plastic bags and so on.
Might actually make a difference, might.
Absolutely. So, did you say America were in then out?
Well, no, basically, America are hosting the talks,
Yeah.
but not being part of them at all.
Oh, okay, right.
So it's in America,
Yeah.
but America aren't playing.
Oh, is it? Is it in Donald Trump's hotel?
Oh, probably. Who knows?
For sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
He'll be scooping some money off somewhere, won't he?
Well, things change, don't they? And, presidents come and go.
Yeah.
So, in the future, there might be a president who wants to buy into this. And if it's already set up and the structure's there, then
straight in.
Absolutely. So it's being led by, obviously, the countries who've been exploited by the sound of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, the African countries had enough. Now, before I end this little green streak, I don't know if you saw this bit of news. It's what I can only describe as another tiny but delicious paper cut to Donald Trump's ego, because work on a multi-billion-dollar wind farm off the coast of New York is officially back on. It's resuming. The turbines are turning because federal judges blocked a stop work order imposed by the Trump administration, which had halted several wind projects back in December on the grounds of, I'm quoting here, national security.
Okay.
Because apparently the greatest threat to America is a very tall fan minding its own business in the sea.
Yeah.
So the courts have looked at it and gone, no, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, every single one of the wind projects that were halted are now cleared to continue. So anyway, I love this story because it ties together a few things we've talked about today. The courts doing their jobs, renewable energy moving forward, environmental progress happening, and Donald Trump once again discovering that shouting no at reality doesn't make reality stop.
What about birds? Donald Trump's always worried about the birds, isn't he, with the wind farms?
Yeah, but I always prefer Bob Dylan's version of Hey Mr. Tambourine Man anyway, so screw them, quite frankly. Now, before our next story, I'd like to reiterate our disclaimer from last week. Stu is not a doctor, not a medical practitioner of any kind, in fact.
No.
And his advice really shouldn't be listened to under any circumstances. With that in mind, take it away, Stu.
Okay, so what I thought I'd introduce at this point tonight is a sensory reset. So shall we just all close our eyes for a minute, take a breath?
I can switch the light off if you want.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to switch the light off.
Sure, do you want me to?
Yeah.
You're going to lead the breathing. Oh, I'm not sure I like this. You've disappeared.
So the light is off, okay? This all sort of plays into what I'm doing. To keep light off, Jim, for this bit, come sit down.
Oh, you want me to come sit back down?
Yeah,
we'll trip over a wire.
So just so we know, just so everyone knows, we've turned the light off now.
Yeah,
I think very Blair Witch with your phone light
I've
on.
mentioned it a number of times.
Okay.
I'm not sure the fact you've switched your torch back on this particular.
Well, I need to read my notes. This is a sensory reset. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the power of the dark shower. From the moment we wake up to the second we close our eyes, I don't know about you, but my brain is always under siege. So we're bombarded, aren't we, by blue light, pings, notifications, and what experts call sensory load. Even our moments of sleep hygiene are high energy. In the morning, we go into the shower, we blast pop music under bright fluorescent lights, scrubbing away at ourselves, don't we, at 6 a.m. in the morning, just to feel like a functioning member of society. But what about if the key to your best night's sleep isn't a new supplement or a high-tech mattress, what about if it's just as simple as turning off the light? This is the dark shower revolution. It's exactly what it sounds like. A shower taken in the evening with the lights off. We up for this? No, come on, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a horror movie. Just said that, didn't you, Gemma? Or I'm going to... Oh, look, I've tripped over my loofah. I know, that's what we're all thinking, isn't it?
That's how we say we get to the hospital. I was in the shower in the dark. I tripped. I fell onto
Yeah.
the loofah.
Yeah.
And could you please get it out?
Yeah. So one person who fed back on this dark shower revolution, they mistook the mango body butter for shampoo in the dark.
We've all done that.
We've all been there. So our bodies are governed by the circadian rhythm, and bright bathroom lights late at night send a subtle signal to the brain that it's still daytime. We can counteract this. We tell our nervous systems, the day is done. Stand down, stand down. Dr. Susan Wiley notes that for those of us whose nervous systems are always on high alert, a dark shower acts as a sensory reset. So without the visual distractions, the noise in your head begins to quiet. You start to focus on the things we usually ignore: the sound of the water, the steam on your skin, the rhythm of your own breathing. You okay in the dark here?
Yeah.
Yeah. One skeptic, and you look like you're quite skeptical, Jim. One skeptic who tried this for a week reported that while they almost twisted an ankle, by day 7, they were drifting off to sleep faster than they had in years. Gemma, you don't have to go full cave woman immediately. You can just start with a nightlight, all right? Because we don't want people listening to this ending up in the hospital. As Jim said, I'm not an expert, so you can use a sort of a warm amber light before you sort of go full dark if you want to build yourself up to that. So, be careful out there. Let the white noise of the water be your soundtrack. This is what I like to call the mindful wash. Just focus on the temperature and the sensation. Okay? Just let the water wash away your cognitive load of the day. So the dark shower, it's not just a viral trend. What it really is a rebellion against a world that demands your attention 24/7. It's a 5-minute sanctuary where no one can reach you, no one can see you. In the darkness, you aren't a worker, a parent, a student. You're just a human being, feeling the warmth of the water, preparing for rest. So tonight, I invite you all to just flip the switch, step into the dark, and just see how much more clearly you can feel.
So have you've been doing some dark showering?
Yeah, I like a dark shower.
Yeah.
Do you like a dark shower? What do we think? Are we all going to try that?
Well, I must admit, I almost drifted off to sleep there when we put the light off. So I think it's working, Stu.
Yeah.
Even without the shower.
Yeah. Gemma?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Yeah.
who doesn't like a bath by candlelight? So why not shower in total? So why not a shower in darkness?
It's not bath, it's a shower.
I know. I was listening.
You said bath.
I did say bath. Who doesn't like a bath with a candle? It's a similar experience.
I don't say that. I say bath.
You say it how you like, Stu. There's no judgment from me.
I say tomato. You say tomato.
God's sake. Let's move on, shall we?
Jim, should we turn the lights on?
If you want to.
All right.
Or we could sit here and be mindful in the dark.
All right.
It's
Okay.
up to you.
Let's carry on.
Okay, we're staying with the dark. Can you actually see it?
I can't see you.
Well, that's something to be thankful for.
I'll turn the light on.
You get the light. Gemma, while he's doing that, you've got one final story for us, I believe, on the topic of ADHD.
Mine is like a seedling story.
Is it?
Yeah.
So if you're a bit of an expert on this, can you tell us what ADHD stands for to start with?
So it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for clarifying that. So let's hear all about what we get wrong about ADHD.
Stop wiggling your eyebrows at me, cousin.
Are you wiggling your eyebrows? At least you got some.
Impulsivity and racing thoughts are often associated with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. Cheers, Jim. But what if they could be reframed as a kind of restless curiosity?
Hmm.
And what would that mean for how we teach ADHD students? Researcher Anne-Laure Leconf, based at King's College London, is on a mission to find out. She was kicked out of school in her teens for what she calls creative mischief. But neither of you are familiar with creative mischief. Hey. Disabling the fire
What do you
alarm.
mean? Sorry, Jim, I've got to ask what do you mean by that?
Nothing. Disabling the fire alarm to sneak out for a cigarette, penning romantic fiction about her teachers, even lobbying the school to relax its dress code. Her ever-questioning mind later propelled her into a scientific career, but it was only 3 years ago that she was diagnosed with ADHD. The discovery pushed her to investigate what she calls hypercuriosity, an intensified impulsive desire to know and explore. She's now studying how curiosity plays out in university students with ADHD, combining interviews with brainwave measurements and eye tracking to map how their minds roam. Her work has been backed with a £133,574 grant from the UK Research and Innovation, support which she hopes will eventually lead to fresh teaching approaches. Traditional education rewards sustained attention to predetermined tasks, she said. The result is that many hyper-curious kids feel miserable, suppressing their natural curiosity rather than learning how to leverage it. Hyper-curious minds deserve better systems and better stories. So it sounds like this is merely the start.
I remember back at school in my day, unfortunately, the kids clearly who had that, we didn't have any terminology or words. They were always getting in trouble and couldn't learn, and it must have been really difficult for them. So, we know a bit more about it now, and this sort of hyper curiosity is a good thing, isn't it? That's like a super skill to have, but obviously you need to keep focused. So you do a bit of teaching. Do you ever have people who are neurodiverse, and do you sort of change your courses to suit that, or is it
So-
difficult?
Well, I mean, at the moment, I've been teaching two autistic learners. One of them actually very clear on this thing of neurodiverse. We're all neurodiverse. Everyone is neurodiverse. It just means difference in the ways our brains are wired. But neurodivergence is the bit that I suppose we're particularly interested in. And yeah, there's different things we can do, different techniques we can use. The important thing really is to work with the person, because the reality of a lot of these conditions is they don't affect everybody in exactly the same way. So it's working with people to understand what their challenges are,
Yeah.
what works best for them, and trying to tailor stuff to them in a way that
Yeah.
will still work more broadly. And it can be challenging, but goes back to this whole thing of what we're trying to do is to create an equal opportunity for everybody. So we make what adjustments we can. But I think the reality of it is, we'll all find certain things easier to learn in certain ways, but we don't just have one style.
It should have better outcomes for the student.
So I think that's about it for this week. What a show that was.
What a show.
Books, fairness, dark showers, wind, and what more could you want?
Love.
Love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And the thread running through all of this is the reason we do this podcast in the first place. Good news matters. Genuinely helps. Doesn't fix everything, but it gives your brain a rest from the agony of the 24-hour scrolling news cycle of doom. If this episode helped even a little, if it made you laugh or exhale or say, oh, that's quite nice, I suppose, then please do the podcast admin thing. Like it, rate it, subscribe, share it with someone who's had enough of the news but still wants to know the world hasn't fully collapsed. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell someone who insists Valentine's Day is a scam. They need this. If you want more of us, you can find Everything's Fine probably wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media. Do doom scroll responsibly. Thank you as always for listening. Thank you for sticking with us, and thank you for choosing this as your weekly antidote to bad news. Now get out there, read a book, be kind, pay your taxes, and love responsibly. Until next week, take care of yourselves, each other, and remember that everything is fine. Probably.
It starts with